You guys, we are going live. And I'm just checking to see if everything is working because we're running a little bit behind today. We were actually supposed to be on Zoom, but your girl is still getting used to all of the systems and everything, right? So, I had a whole, you know, um, lecture and we have slides and we have a whole webinar planned out, but we have to adjust, right, when things come up and when things happen. But I still want to touch on some really important parts because it is Friday and it is your business funding class. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are staying on top of everything, even though we're stepping into the weekend. It is still important to making sure we're adapting. As you can see, we were supposed to be on Zoom, but also staying prepared. So, you know what? Next week, next Friday, we'll step into the Zoom and we will go through all of the slides. But today, this class is all about how you're going to get funded now, right? Having that freedom so that you can secure the funding and then get that funding and turn it into passive income, right? At the end of the day, you guys, the goal is to make sure that we're having different income streams, right, from different directions, right? That's what we're working towards. We want to be successful in our business, but we also want to be stacking, our opportunities, right? So, just so you guys know who I am, if you're new to this channel, or if you just came across my page, I'm Dominique, and this is you can find me CEO underscore the Domino Effect or at Domino Effects Group. And I want you guys to be confident in who you're talking to, right? So I started the Domino Effect actually in 2021, and then it has evolved into the platform of Domino Effects Group. We are an online marketplace. We help businesses with providing access to capital, right? So crucial because women in business, especially Black women in business, have long been barred out from a lot of the opportunities, right? So I built the platform to help businesses and to help entrepreneurs get access to funding. Also built it out of frustration, right? Because it was difficult for myself to get funding, but more than that, it was difficult to find the resources of how to build a company. So I came into the alternative finance space in 2019, and in the process, um, moved into underwriting. And what I saw very a pattern was a lot of issues that could be mitigated, right? So things like just not having the documentation, or maybe my credit is not that great, but I don't know where to go. And a lot, or businesses that just gave up, right, because they just didn't know where to go next. So as the platform evolved, being able to partner with GRA Capital as well, becoming doing the director of women-owned enterprises. GRA typically works with 2 million and up, and now they're opening up to service a lot of women-owned companies that are generating under 1 million, wherever you're at, right? So this class, right? Why you're here, you guys, is because you need funding, or you're starting a business, or you're interested in starting a business, and you're looking for help, right? So if that's you, then make sure you're commenting, put I'm next, make sure you put that in the chat. And you're saying this is me, right? Because I'm on a mission to help you secure funding, to help businesses secure funding. And through our partners, our Clips platform has secured you know thousands of dollars in funding, you guys. So many, you can use this funding to start trash companies. You can use it to start, daycares, invest in real estate portfolios. You can start an online business. So we're working with businesses that are already established as well, and even those that have been declined from the bank. So, students that have come to this class, or class on the back end that we're just now exposing out here onto social media, that have started the program, that have entered the program, that have been successful in their business. So that is you guys. You are next. And just so you know, I mean, I have a true passion for this because, like I said, when I started in this space, it was very difficult to understand how to maneuver right through business and how to, move through the steps, right? So, learning about the different opportunities, the different programs, the different types of financing, if you can't get funding from the traditional bank. And we work with a lot of banks, guys, but, for majority of people who can't get funded there, it's like when not knowing, right? The power is in knowing. So when I came across the opportunities that are available, even with business credit, even cards that have no limit, okay, loan limit. I'm not there yet, but the cards that have no limit, right? But a lot of my clients have been able to get here, right? So that's the goal for you, right? And that's what we want to get you to, because initially I didn't know that I was going to be building this platform. I didn't know that Domino Effects Group was going to evolve into what it is, and that we were going to be successful in helping businesses with getting financing and growing and connecting with resources. It's crazy to think about where I was just a few years ago. Like, that's crazy. That's a whole nother story, right? But from there to here, is truly, you can do anything, right? You just have to want to do it and just stay consistent. So, but as I was growing and even learning and failing, right? Because I failed a lot. But those failures are all lessons, right? Packaging it up. I also noticed, as I was moving up and doing the underwriting and speaking with many of the business owners, hundreds of business owners, hundreds of applications, right? There's a pattern. And I noticed that our community, females, minority businesses really need this information the most, right? Because there is truly a whole world out there that is able to leverage other people's money. They're doing this, every single day. Some of the biggest companies in the world, you guys, and you can do it too. So, people are getting access to unlimited funds, $100,000 loans, and just being able to really leverage, right? So that is why I'm starting this class. So make sure you're coming to these lives. We're going to be doing it every Friday. Today was supposed to be on the Zoom, like I said, but we're adjusting, right? So we'll do a short live today, but make sure you come back every Friday. And comment ready if you're ready to access that type of funding. Because if you're coming to this class and if you're making sure that you're setting the time aside, then it is not a mistake that you're here. This is truly live, as you can see, right? Mistakes and all. So you guys need to understand that, there's a reason you signed up for this class, or there's a reason that you're logging in. There's a reason why you might be, curious to come and access this funding. And there's a reason that I'm here, right, in Sacramento at 322, right? So, but you guys are going to be able to get this information, and the goal is you don't just get the information, but you're going to take it and you're going to execute it, right? So first thing, you have to do is just really open, your mind. And, it's important that you make time, you make space, and you leave a lot of this old mindset stuff behind. Like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, well, they said no, and I'm not going to be able to get it. You have to get past that, right? If you're holding on to too much baggage, like fears, insecurities, doubts, whatever, all of that stuff, you guys, what you have to get rid of that, right? Like, what is it that you are going to be leaving behind, right? What are you saying? I'm not even going to carry this crap with me, over in tomorrow. Is it going to be, and I'm working on these too, right? Everybody needs to be working on these. Okay. Is it going to be the people that you're around, your habits, your procrastination, self-doubt? What are you going to commit to, right? So that you can start making space for the things that you really want in your life, right? Because I can tell you that when you start when you're like full of fear and like, oh, I'm not, this is not going to happen for me, I can't move forward, this, I'm, in doubt, then that is really what's going to manifest. And if you don't make space, and if you have your insecurities in front of, blocking you, then you can't make space for different income streams, right? If you're procrastinating every day and you're telling yourself, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to just take care of this tomorrow, then you don't have time. That procrastination is keeping you from making profit, right? So your insecurities are keeping you from making income, procrastination's keeping you from making profit. So the more you hold on to a lot of these things, right? And I'm just telling you guys, right? So the more you hold on to these things, you can literally be blocking out opportunities for this profit to come in. So even if you're not where you aspire to be, right? Just treat yourself like you are, right? And just work towards like, okay, I'm haven't yet met maybe your goal is 5,000 a month, 10,000 or 20,000 a month. Maybe you're not there, but start acting like you're there. At least start thinking in that mindset, right? Because I know when I first started my business, and even throughout when the beginning, and even at certain times as you grow, I mean, definitely in the beginning, I was definitely terrified, right? Because I have like a crazy background, not super cute. And, initially you don't, not feeling as confident, right? Not feeling as confident with yourself as an entrepreneur. But it really comes down to you having a conversation with yourself and saying, you know what, I don't need this validation from anybody else. If you are confident in your craft and you're really truly passionate about what you're doing and you know what you're doing, you don't need validation from anybody else to get out there and do what you're trying to do, right? You don't need it from your cousin, your colleagues, your nieces, your nephews, your families, your friends, your spouse, whatever. Whatever, you just know that you're out here, trying to figure out what to do and implement the steps. And we're trying to figure out how to do it the right way and save time, right? So you wouldn't be on my page, you wouldn't be logging into this if you're not ready to take the next step and execute, right? So that's the point of these lives, right? That's the point of these lives. And this is the first one. So we're gonna be coming back, right? Every Friday. So make sure that you guys are staying plugged in, right? Especially if you're new here. So I invite you guys to make today the day that you actually start executing, because you can't make space, right, for yourself, if you're letting all that other crap stand in the way, right? So make sure you're committing, and you're going to make a promise to yourself, and you're going to say right now, all right, I commit, I'm done with this, I'm in this, and I'm ready to move forward. And you're going to be prepared. So definitely commit prepared, okay? Because this has to be the moment where you guys are like, okay, I'm done, right? A month has passed, 3 months have passed, 6 months have passed. I'm talking with a few of you, and it's been like 4 months, 6 months, and you're kind of teetering around. You have to really decide, right, how long you're gonna let this stall out, or if it's what you really want, right? So you commit yourself to doing whatever it takes to making sure that you can reach that level of success. So my goal with the lives is to leave you with something more than what you came with, right? And helping you take that energy that you used for doubt and worry and frustration, just redirecting all of that and making sure that you're aware, you can do this. Okay. So you just have to understand that it might even be a challenge, right? And that's also kind of like the beauty in it, guys. I know it sounds kind of crazy or demented, but when you figure something out, and then when you can kind of be like, you hit that light bulb moment and you're like, oh, wow. And it changes your whole perspective, right? Again, that's why I get really passionate about this, because I've been able to see what it has done for a lot of companies that we've been able to step in and help. It has been really beneficial for a lot of minority owned companies, helping them secure capital, because I don't know if you guys know this, but less than 2% of VC capital goes to, women, right? Alone. And then, as far as capital that's dispersed, right? 3% is dispersed. So, and that's up, right? I think it was like 1%. Okay. So that's up out of all of the billions of dollars and the massive pool of capital that's out there. That's not very much. Okay. So you guys have to think about that because you deserve you deserve to be funded. And, even though you may have dealt with denials in the past, it's okay. Right. So even though you have dealt with denials in the past, still don't be afraid to apply, but you will apply with the system, right? So don't allow yourself to be blocked out or knocked out, right? Just because statistically your business, right, in the past hasn't been funded doesn't mean there aren't new avenues being created that are trying to help you get funded. There's a lot of organizations coming together that really want to help, and banks actually, they're not bad people. Banks actually really want to fund you, right? They want to do, but it has to make sense. So it has to make sense for them, and that's just the way it is. So you guys I want to get discouraged. It's all about recognizing what these barriers are and then just tackling it from there, right? Creating new avenues and then making sure that we are positioning ourselves. So you have to be twice as better, you have to be twice as consistent, you have to work twice as hard, and you probably have to submit twice the many number of grants. I can't tell you how many grants I've submitted, but recently paid off. We just got accepted into the Fourth Wave Accelerator, which is extremely, extremely cool. So definitely excited to be a part of that program. Antoinette Banks was recently in that program. Diana Gamzina was in that program. So that's pretty cool. So that, guys, back to this funding, right? That's the confidence that I want to leave you with when you leave this class, okay? Because your business deserves to be funded, okay? It does, right? It's just a matter of staying consistent, staying ahead of it, getting prepared, and then knowing knowing what you deserve, right? Knowing what you deserve and getting it done, right? So what we were really going to cover tonight is all about empowering you with these skills, right? Making sure that you're going to be twice as good to get this funding, making sure that, you're going to be able to access it in a pretty good amount of time. So we're covering, how you should be managing your money in your business, because that's extremely important. And then how you're going to build your business credit to help you leverage these funding opportunities. And then we can go over some passive income opportunities and then talk about how you can implement some of these things in your life, right? So if you're ready, guys, then let's move forward, okay? Because, you have to say I'm committed, right? Now say this is the last day that I'm going to stop around, right? And I'm actually going to move forward. So I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have asked yourself the question of, why am I using my own money to fund my business, right? You're tired, you're home, you're like I don't even know what's going on. Why am I even doing this, right? It's not working, okay? Now you're hitting a wall. Now you might even be hitting a wall because you're using your personal, but and that is called over leveraging your personal credit, guys. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to get funding. Why am I even using my personal cards to get this done, right? I'm supposed to be using other people's money to get this done, but how do I even get to that point, right? I don't even know how I'm supposed to be accessing other people's money. The bank told me no. Like, what am I even supposed to do next, right? So, and many of you guys who are, coming across this page or coming across, come to these lives or will come to these lives are, at different stages. Some of you are startups, some of you are already established, but, either way, no matter where you are, it's always important to remember that you have the proper documentation for your business. So making sure that, you have your business bank accounts. So you want to have different relationships with different bank accounts, okay? You want to have a business banking relationship with a larger regional bank, like a Bank of America or a Chase. Then you want to have one with like a credit union. And then you can also move down to like your community banks, right? Smaller local banks that are in your area as well. But you guys definitely want to make sure that you're having a business bank account, because I've also talked with a lot of businesses that are um, selling, right? So they're selling, they're doing some type of e-commerce, and they're using like Square or, Venmo or Cash App, but they're not actually depositing into a business bank account, or they're depositing, they're just transferring it into their personal. So you guys want to make sure that you're actually separating this. And the reason I'm telling you to have relationships with different banks is because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. Okay. So you don't want to have all of your hope on the line with one bank, and then they back out at the last minute, right? Oh, I've seen that happen many, many times. So, we had a client that was waiting on a loan from the bank, and they were waiting for like 4 months. And then at the last minute, they said they couldn't fulfill the loan. So, waiting, some banks require like 3 years of business tax returns and things like that. Excuse me. So you guys got to understand that all of these banks, they have their own internal rating systems, right? They have their own algorithms, their own way that they are able to assess who they're going to disperse the loan to, what their approval is going to be. And when you go to like a regional bank, it might be a little bit difficult. They have strict requirements, but if you could do something like accessing microloans, right? Microloans are like $50,000 or less, and those are right around the corner. If you're in Sacramento, you could connect with like California Capital, CDFI, and they have microloans there. So if you have a business plan, then you can go ahead and apply. So as much as you guys want to get the funds from them, trust me, they want to get the funds from you too. Okay. So in reality, they need you just as much as you need them. Because if we didn't go and apply, then the banks would crash, right? So, if we weren't actually borrowing money from the banks, and actually there's other ways you can do this, but we're just talking about this type of funding right now. But if you were to borrow money, if they need us just as much as we need them, basically. So you guys got to understand that, okay? It is to your advantage to have relationships with different banks. It's to your advantage to get to know, the banks in your area. And it's just another asset, part of your stepping stone to getting to where you need to be. So, all about, like I said, making sure, asking yourself the question, am I ready to commit right now? Am I ready to do this? Right? Am I ready to do this? Is this it? Am I done doubting? Am I ready to just move forward? And a lot of you are already in the position to really do some creative structuring here, right? And I love the word creative when it comes to this alternative finance. But you could be doing a lot of different things. You could be documenting your loan, like if you're paying yourself or if you borrow money from a family or friend, then you could essentially document this, right? And show it as you're making payments, right? So if you're a startup and you're going in and you want to prove to the bank that, look, I have a payment history and I can show you that I bought, you don't have to tell them it's my brother. You don't have to tell them it's my sister or my mom or anything like that. But you could say, look, I paid Miss Beverly Johnson this much, right? And it was a loan, it was for startup funds. And that's what I did. I repaid it for 2 years. So, I'm ready to, as you can see, I can handle this type of funding. So that's one option that you could get creative with, right? If you're a new business, right? If you have no payment, no payment history on your business. But there's other ways that you can absolutely do this. So, but you, at the end of the day, you absolutely want to make sure you're tracking all of the funding that goes into your account, right? When I first started my business, I could tell you how I had everything going into my personal account, everything, right? Because I just didn't know. So maybe you could get something like a QuickBooks. It's like $15 a month, you guys. Actually, I just got my bill, it was like $9. So, you could get a QuickBooks account and you can have it on your phone, right? And it's super cool. And you can have your business account, you can have your personal account. Obviously it's separate. But you have to measure and monitor all of the funds that go into your account, because you have to remember that your business is a separate identity, right, guys? So in our program, right, in the program that we have, we really go into all of these documents. And this new program that we have coming out is what we go into. Oh, 1 second. Hi, honey. That's my kid. Oh, okay. She's going for a sleepover. I have to sleep over and Gummy Pops for the movie. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me talk to you guys that are using, cash-based business. I touched on this a little bit. Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, right? All of you guys that love these three applications. Hey, I pay my rent through Venmo. Sometimes I've done that, right? But you guys, you don't want to do this for your business, meaning I'm not dogging them in that sense. I'm just saying that, I'm trying to give you some nuggets here, right? That's what part of being in this community. So comment yes, yes, comment Venmo, comment Zelle, comment Cash App if you use it from time to time. And be honest, okay? Don't worry about it. We're just be honest. I want you guys to know that there is a better way that you can do this. But you're not emboldened to them, right? You don't have to use it. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with using it, but you have other options, and you have other options that are going to help you actually access capital easier. And we go into this into my webinar. So we'll be having that next Friday as well. But you guys could be doing a variety of different things. You could be setting a schedule for yourself, right? Let's say you are taking these, cash this way. What you can be doing is setting like a specific day once a week where you're like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually deposit on this day. So that day you're building like a timeline out, right? Because lenders and credit issuers were looking, and underwriters were looking at your deposits. Okay. We want to see are your activity, not just your deposits. Like, do you have non-sufficient funds? What are you spending your money on? A lot of business bank accounts that I've seen, there's a lot of like McDonald's and Chipotle and, Lyft and, shopping and all kinds of stuff. And you guys want to make sure that, like I said, you're keeping this stuff separate. Okay. You want to create a pattern. So create a pattern of transactions that we can see, that we can show the lender, like, oh, hey, look at this. Wow, they're making consistent deposits. It's going into the business bank account. And not just that, like, it really helps you. It helps you know how much revenue you're making. And you can also qualify. You can qualify for loans depending on the type of platform that you're using. But you can also, make sure that if you don't keep your business account separate, then you're not going to get the tax benefits, right? Or it's definitely going to be more difficult to get it. So make sure, that you're on top of these things, because, banks, credit issuers, lenders, they're all looking at this. They're all looking at how you're taking care of your business bank account. We're looking at your balances, all of that stuff. So make sure, if you would, here's a tip, and I'm implementing this tip. Okay. Here's a tip. Right now, you guys, you may have your account at zero. Okay. Your account may be at zero. All right. That's just the way it is, right? That's just how it is right now. You're building, you're learning so that you can build. So when you have your account at zero, just as you start to deposit and as you start to build, change your zero, make it 500, right? Then make it 1,000. What do I mean by that? What I mean is then the next moment, as you get your deposits and as you grow and as you start to increase cash flow, as you have like $500 in your account, that's your new minimum. That's your new balance, right? That's your zero. So you can't go any lower than that, right? So now you've got 1,000, you've got 2,000 coming in, and you're spending money, you're utilizing, you're getting inventory, you're getting what you need, you spend it on some ads, but you're never going to go below your 500. Then as you start to use these funds, you start to grow, it starts to show that it's working, the wheel is working, your profit starts to grow. Then you're going to continue this process, right? So that's kind of what you do. You make that your new zero. So as you grow, next is, instead of the 500, it's going to be 1,000, right? So it'll be 1,000, and then it'll be 2,000, and then it'll be 3,000, right? And then it'll be 10,000. So you're never going to go below that amount that you set for yourself. And that is the steps, right? That's part of the steps. Everything we're going to do in steps. So you're changing, your new balance, like your minimums, right? What you're not going to go below. And that's going to help you, right? That's going to help you with managing your money and all of that, right? So, everybody who gets paid on Cash App, who gets paid on Venmo, all my people who get paid on Zelle, don't miss out on these opportunities, okay? Because working capital, you can have access to it depending on the type of platform you use. And Zelle, Venmo, and Cash App, they're not going to give you, they don't have that option, right? It's just a platform. They don't have that option. So, but other platforms like QuickBooks, like Square, you have an invoice, something like an invoice, right? Then you could qualify for working capital, you guys. All right, you can definitely qualify for working capital. When you start depositing into those type of accounts, you know that they'll offer you loans. We've had students who've gotten like $10,000 loans, $20,000 loans, right? With no personal credit check, no personal credit check. It's just a working capital. So when you get offered, working capital, look at your business, look at the processor, look at where, what their benefits are. Because, you can go ahead and access a certain type of financing in just a matter of months, right? After you start depositing. So you can actually be in a position to actually be rewarded, for getting that money to start your business or that you're making in your business. And you don't have to do a credit check. You don't have to submit any bank statements. You don't have to send over any tax returns, you guys. You just need to use these systems, these platforms, for like 60 days. That's it. Like, that's it. And then you can qualify. So if that is something that you're planning to do, then comment planning. All right. If that's what you're planning to do, comment planning. All right, because you can do this, and you can do this in 60 days. Okay, that's just one way you can do it. You can also secure a car in your business name. You can, you can do a lot, you guys. And but the first thing is you have to understand these foundational principles, because if you don't understand the foundational principles, then you're just not going to get anywhere. You're going to spend a lot of time like getting frustrated, just being like, why isn't this working for me? And then maybe even giving up altogether. And that is not what I want for you. I want you all here. I want you all to succeed. And I want you all to attain what it is that you're trying to do. So, have you ever been denied in the past, you guys? If you have, then comment yes, right? Majority of people have. Okay, 90% of people who go to the bank cannot get funded. So, have you been to the bank? Have you applied? Have you not applied? Have you said this isn't even for me? I'm not even going to bother. They're not going to do it. Why should I even bother, right? Well, I think it's important that you go and, if you have gone to the bank, make sure you're asked why it was denied, right? Sometimes they'll tell you why. But also, I think what a big common problem is, a lot of people just don't even apply. They're like, I'm not even going to do it. Why would I do it? No one's going to approve me. And that is very interesting to me, because you remember the statistic that I told you earlier, right? But also, half of the businesses in the US are women owned. Yet they still can't get access to capital. But did you also know that like nearly half of the reason that Black businesses are not represented in data is because they're not there to be represented. They're not applying. They're not doing it. So we have to really assess like what is it coming down to, right? Why am I not applying? What's going on here? Or at least why am I not figuring out where I stand right now? Like I said, you cannot let fear hold you back, you guys, because anything is possible. You can get funded, you can grow a business, you can do this. Okay. So, guys, that's it for our live today. It is our first Friday business funding class, but I want to see you all here every single Friday. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're coming with your questions. Make sure you're coming with your opportunities, your investments. Next time, we're going to be delving into buying a business, how you can get a car with business credit. We'll be giving away some vendors. So make sure you are connecting and then you comment ready if you're ready to execute, and you need the link to access the class next week, y'all. So that is it for today. Happy Friday. Guys, go check out the website. If you're ready to start executing now, invest in yourself. Listen, what if your girl was like, okay, I'm going to give you $500. No, you give me $500, okay? If you give me $500 today, I'm gonna show you how you're gonna get $50,000. I'm gonna get you $50,000 if you invest $500 today. Would you do that? Right? Would you do that? If you've been to the bank and the bank said no, if you have exhausted all of your options, if you're ready to start building your business credit and access better rates and terms, what's it worth it to you? Right? What's it worth it to you? But, ask yourself that and then be ready to execute, because 2024 is all about opportunity, guys. And you know what? We have got some amazing events happening in Sacramento. We've got Show Her the Money coming. Now, we need all the Sacramento support for this event because this is for women in business, men in business, minorities. This is for, and I shy away from saying, this is for those in business that are looking to expand on their green, right? And their knowledge and their resources. And if you are looking to invest in female founders, guys, this is absolutely the place you need to be. So we need all of Sacramento to show up. We've got the city of Sacramento, Clutch, Minerva versus Fourth Wave, all involved. FEI is involved. Okay, they're killer organization out here. They're actually all over, you guys. So you need to be checking them out. So glad you guys came here. Business funding class. Make sure you're coming every week and make sure that you're taking advantage of opportunities, because, guys, I'm seeing it happen every single day and I want it to happen for you too. Okay. All right.